my son, Chuck, the great South Bay was a place of magic. He had grown up around the water, and ever since he was a little boy, he spent much of his free time fishing and clamming. When he finally saved up enough money, he bought his own boat. He always went out by himself. I thought it seemed lonely, but Chuck loved the solitude. It was his private space to dream and to plan for the future. A future that would soon include going off to college and leaving home for the first time. As a mother, I told myself he would be in good hands. The good hands of a respected university. What was there to fear? I knew nothing about the secret world that exists on many college campuses. A world with fiercely guarded traditions that would reach out to my son and change our lives forever. My name is Eileen Stevens, and this is our story.
Look what I did in my art class.
You did this? Yeah, I bet you bought it, didn't you?
No, I made it myself.
Oh, you did, huh? So what is this? Is this supposed to be me?
Yeah, in 50 years.
Yeah, well, you're a born artist, kiddo. That's what I think. Come on, let's go. How's homework going? Good? Yeah? Okay, hot dog.
No, you're gonna gross out your room,
Right,
Nathan.
little Bruce. Little
Okay,
Seth.
that's about it. Okay, out of here.
Right. Let's go. Goodbye. Beauty. Okay, hey. All right, man. Bye. Come on, old man. You're slowing me up.
Man, you are lucky you are leaving.
Chuck!
Yes.
Here, honey.
Oh, Mom.
Your favorites.
Okay, look, chicken soup.
Chuck, wait.
Yes.
I have something for
What do you
you.
got?
It's you.
This is great. I love it.
I'm gonna miss you.
I'm gonna miss you too. Would you put that on my shoulder for me? Thank you. Okay. I got everything, you guys. All right?
Chuck,
Yes.
wait.
Oh.
I have something for you. Chocolate chip cookies. I just made them this
Great,
morning.
Well, look, Mom, more food.
Safe trip.
Okay. Mom had me raid the refrigerator. Thinks I'm gonna starve on the way to school. Yeah.
I'm just being practical. It's a long drive.
Buddy, save the room for me, man. All right. Oh, God, I'm gonna drop everything. Whoa. Got it. Oh, okay. Bye, everybody.
You two look after each other, will you? You hear me?
Yeah,
Now you stay within the speed limit.
Okay, Dad.
And call me as soon as you get there. Promise. Okay, I love you.
See ya.
Well, that's one out of the nest.
Drive safely.
Chuck, if you earn the privilege of becoming a Delta Lambda, the whole world will be at your feet.
Oh, yeah, the whole world. So, let me ask you, would this help, give me a chance to make it in the lacrosse team this year?
Chuck, like I said, we take care of our brothers.
That's right. You pledge tomorrow night, and you'll have the whole frat house looking out for you.
And that means the best and the brightest. And remember, we don't just take anyone.
You can't beat that deal now, can you, little brother?
It's not.
Say yes, and you'll always be sitting with the creme de la creme.
Chuck, did you know that Frank was one of the top 10 lacrosse goalies in America last year?
Yeah, I knew.
What you guys think? My roommate here just likes you guys for your winning personalities?
Yeah, I mean, hell, we're stellar guys.
Trustworthy, honorable,
Decent, dependable.
loving, and loyal.
Lummoxes. You guys are lummoxes. You said the same thing to me last year.
And you fell for it, Frank.
So, did you believe it?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I became a brother. Do you believe it?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I do. My brother.
Chuck! 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 Chuck!
I'll catch you guys later, all right?
Chuck!
Hey, what was that all about?
Nothing, we're just having some fun.
Oh, fun and games, huh?
Chuck, I don't know why you want to pledge that group, man. They don't exactly have the best reputation.
Come on, Mark, lighten up. These are nice guys.
Yeah. A couple beers, please.
No, thanks. I'm full.
So how you been?
I've been good.
Yeah?
I think I'm going to change my major. You know, I want to do something inspiring, something that's going to give me a challenge.
Come work for us.
Who's us?
The Free the Earth campaign. Hey, you want a challenge? Come help us save the environment before it's too late.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start.
There's this defunct nuclear plant out in Westfield. The thing is a sitting time bomb.
Whoa. I need some time to think about this.
No problem. Look, we'll go back to my dorm. We'll give you all the materials. You can read it over and then get back to me, okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay. My man.
Thought you said you'd be back in 20 minutes.
We needed a lot of groceries.
Hey, Mom, there's going to be a big storm tonight. I just heard on TV.
Oh, Roy, what about our trip?
Don't worry. We're getting on a plane to the Bahamas tomorrow. We have to swim to the airport. Now, you got anything else down there?
Yeah, there's more in the trunk. Thanks.
So you all back?
Semi-packed. I wanted to make this chili and freeze it so we can bring it to Chuck when we go up for Parents' Weekend. Here.
So you're going to be thinking of us freezing our buns off while you're sunning in the Bahamas?
No.
Hello. Chuck. Yeah, how are you? Uh-huh.
Give me the phone.
Did you hear about that deal the Mets made? Well, they certainly need something. I got to give you your mom. Talk to you later.
Hi, college boy. Hi. Is it freezing up there? Do you have enough warm clothes? Do you want me to send you some long underwear just to sleep in?
Mom, you're doing it again.
I know. I'm nosy and I'm an egg.
It's okay. You wouldn't be the same if you didn't ask all these questions. What are you doing?
Get off the phone, will you?
Hey, I'm on with my mom. Go do something.
I need to talk to my mom.
Chuck, what's going on?
Well, nothing. My roommate's just goofing off. Listen, Mom, what I wanted to tell you. I got this history teacher, and his course is changing my life. I mean, I keep hearing about all these people that made a difference just because they cared. It's got me so fired up right now. I changed my major because I know what I want to do. I want to teach history.
Oh, that's great.
Chuck, I got some bad news. You've been blackballed.
What? The membership voted. Some
Chuck,
of the guys
what
who think you'd fit in. You're out. Sorry.
Sorry, Chuck.
Chuck, are you still there?
Yeah, Mom. I can't talk right now, okay?
Surprise! Joke's on you, Chucky boy. Congratulations.
I don't get it.
You're in, man. All of us want you. Let's go.
Come on. Hold on. Mom, I gotta go. Look.
Say, I love everybody, and I miss them, and have a good time in the Bahamas.
Well, whatever he's doing, it sounds like he's having fun.
Welcome to our room. Woo! All right, where are we going? Hey, you gotta trust your brothers, right?
Yeah, trust is the name of the game.
Spin around.
Very trusting.
Open your mouth. Yeah.
I can't drink that, man.
Hey, don't stop till you drop, Chuck.
Oh, 20 after 1. How did it get to be so late?
Time flies when you're having fun. It's a rainstorm outside, and tomorrow I'm going to be wearing this.
Oh, my. Who's calling this late?
Hello.
Hello, Mrs. Stevens? I'm Dean Braden, Dean of Student Services at Crawford University. Your son, Charles. Chuck. There's been a terrible tragedy.
I don't understand.
Eileen, what is it?
You can't be talking about Chuck.
I'm terribly sorry, Mrs. Stevens. Your son died in an accident tonight.
No.
What's happened?
No.
What is it, Eileen? Was it... Is there an accident? Eileen, tell me, what is it?
Chuck is dead.
Dead?
He said Chuck is dead. Tell me he's not dead. My son, no.
Eileen, all the flights have been canceled.
I don't care about the airplane.
I think we're on the first flight out tomorrow.
I'm going to fall right now.
Eileen!
No.
Susan. He's a student from Crawford. They said he was brought here.
I'm sorry, no one's allowed inside.
We're his parents, and we want to see him now.
They told us at reception to come here.
Can I have your names, please?
Roy and Eileen Stevens.
Stevens, I thought it was the stencil boy you wanted to see.
It is. He's my son from a previous marriage.
Sorry, because of the way he died, he's undergoing an autopsy.
We'll wait.
It would be better if you came back.
Better? Why better? Will my son be alive then?
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to say that it'll be several hours before anyone can speak with you.
We'll wait. There's no one here from the university. I can't find anyone to talk for the hospital. I don't understand.
I can't stand it, Roy. I mean, did anyone even think of calling a priest?
Mr. Stevens? Mrs. Stevens, hi. I'm Dr. Parmel. I assisted the coroner in Chuck's autopsy.
What happened, Doctor? Nobody will tell us anything.
Look, I'm a parent, too. There are no words that'll make this any easier.
Please, just tell us.
Now, it'll be a few weeks before the final tests come back, but it appears the cause of death was acute alcohol poisoning.
What are you saying?
In layman's terms, your son drank a lethal amount of alcohol. I don't know how he got it down his throat.
Are you telling us that Chuck drank himself to death?
Yes, I am. Well, he either passed out or he was put to bed on his back to sleep it off. His lungs filled with fluid beyond their capacity. He literally drowned in those fluids.
That's not Chuck. Chuck wasn't a drinker.
In my opinion, Mrs. Stevens, it wasn't your son's experience with alcohol that killed him. It was his lack of experience. He never had a chance. He couldn't tolerate what he'd ingested. His body went into shock and his heart stopped.
A couple of beers, that's all I ever saw him drink.
That's the problem with those fraternity hijinks. They never know when to stop.
What fraternity?
What are you talking about, Doctor?
What'll it take? Another innocent boy killed before the university does something? I know I'm not supposed to tell you this, but I believe that what happened to your son was nothing short of manslaughter.
Promise me that on your life, even if I faint, that we won't leave until we see Chuck.
Eileen.
Promise me.
I promise.
I love you, Chuck. I love you.
At this point, I still can't tell you very much. There was a party.
The pathologist said something about a fraternity.
Yes, that's right. The party took place at a fraternity. There was lots of drinking.
They killed Chuck.
What?
The pathologist said that they killed Chuck.
Then he spoke way out of turn. What he said was very unprofessional. He knows that we have no official report from the coroner. He's waiting for information just like the rest of us. I can assure you, Mrs. Stevens, both the university and the local police will be looking into this party.
My God, how can you call it a party? The nurse said that they admitted 2 other boys in critical condition and no one else had said anything to us.
Can we see President Rowan?
I don't think so.
Why not?
President Rowan is not available.
Is he out of town?
No.
Then where the hell is he?
I believe he's attending a basketball game.
I don't believe it.
Please, understand. A meeting with the president at this point would serve no purpose. He has no further details. It would be futile and frustrating for you to hear him repeat what I've already told you.
You mean the president doesn't know what's going on in his own school?
As I said, there will be a very thorough investigation. I apologize I can't tell you any more. But again, I assure you, we're doing everything we can. You both have my word that I will share with you every piece of information as I receive it.
Your word.
My word.
Mrs. Stevens!
It's Mark.
Mr. Stevens. Thank God I finally found you.
It's good to see you, Mark.
Mark, how could this happen?
I don't know. It doesn't make any damn sense.
That's how we feel too.
If there's anything I can do, if I can pick up some of Chuck's things or get his truck.
That would be good. If you could drive his truck back, that would be a help.
Yes.
Sure. I can get it this weekend.
We'll pack his things. Thank you.
Where's Charles Stencil's room?
Yeah, straight ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Jeff Lanier.
Which bed is Chuck's?
This is the neat one.
You're Chuck's roommate?
No, sir. No one's been able to find him.
Sister Suzanne made this for Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck was crazy about Suzanne. He talked about her all the time. Excuse me.
What happened to him, Roy? Why did he drink so much? What was he trying to prove?
I wish to God I knew.
I don't think we're going to be able to dress Chuck in his favorite red hat, honey.
It's not fair. We have to find it.
Susie, would you go upstairs? I want to talk to your mother.
Okay.
Wait till you hear this.
Roy, what's the matter?
My brother called from the precinct. Rumors are flying all over the place.
What rumors?
Well, he and a couple of the other officers have been making calls. There's a story out that Chuck was locked in a car trunk the night he died.
Why?
He doesn't know. But he's sure that there was a lot more going on at that fraternity party than people are saying.
That's exactly what I've been thinking.
Well, then why didn't you say something?
Because I thought I was going crazy or grasping at straws or something.
I'll tell you what's crazy. Chuck goes out to the party in the middle of the night, in the middle of the winter. He doesn't wear a coat.
And why did he have bruises on his knuckles?
You saw bruises.
In the hospital, when I took his hand to say goodbye, I keep asking myself, what were those bruises from? Oh, God, Roy.
What?
That story of your brother's. What if it's true? And Chuck was in the trunk of that car banging to get out.
Damn it!
At a time like this, the question that seemingly cannot be answered is why? Why was such a decent, caring young man robbed of his youth and his future in such a senseless way? One question, however, that can be answered is, what can we do for the family and the loved ones of Chuck Stenzel? We can give them our love, give them our support, and our understanding. So let us now honor the memory of Chuck with a moment of silent prayer.
Look at this.
What's Mark doing? Who are all those people?
The local clammers Chuck worked with. I loved him.
Chuck would have loved this.
No, Dad. I think he would have.
This is from Mr. Grady. The thing I remember most about Chuck was that he knew I had a bad back, and so whenever we had a big snow, he'd come over and shovel my sidewalk. I always tried to pay him. He always said no. He was one hell of a kid.
That's what makes me so angry, Roy, to think that he was treated with such indifference by the school that he loved and by the friends who attended that so-called party. Where are their cards? And where is their sympathy?
I'll get it, sweetheart. Can I help you?
It's really hard for me to face you right now. I couldn't do it before. I was too upset.
and I didn't know what to say to you. I hope you'll forgive me for not coming to the funeral. I couldn't handle it. I want you to know that my heart and thoughts are with you, and if there's anything at all I can do for you...
Frank, please just tell us what happened to Chuck.
I'd be breaking my vow of silence to tell you that. My oath of secrecy.
Frank, I am begging you.
Chuck died being hazed into Delta Lambda fraternity.
Hazed?
It's the stuff we do as part of the initiation into the fraternity. The thing is, we all agreed not to get in touch with the family. We agreed that nothing could bring Chuck back. But I felt it was my duty as his friend to tell you the truth. I feel so responsible for everything.
Chuck told us about everything that he was involved in school, but he never once mentioned a fraternity.
Well, he wasn't going to join. But I wouldn't let up on him. It was the beginning of Hell Week, and that night was tapping night.
A celebration on the night that pledges are accepted for membership.
The pledges were taken from their dorms blindfolded and assembled in the parking lot.
Okay.
They had no idea what was going to happen to them.
Now, I am your pledge master. And as part of your pledgeship, you will experience the honored tradition of Delta Lambda fraternity.
The stuff we do here is secret, okay? Okay, worms, here's the drill.
Listen up, pledges.
We know how worms love those cold and dark places.
Yes, we do.
So get in! You better wiggle so you'll fit. And while you're in there, we want you to drink one of these pints of bourbon.
Here, buddy.
Yeah!
Look, all I can drink is beer. Well, that's good news, Chuck. Because you will chase that bourbon with a six-pack. Good luck, Chuck.
And you'll wash that down with a bottle of wine.
Good idea, brother. Can someone tell me why? I can. Because you're worms, pledges. And we want to see you glow. So let's get in the trunks.
Yeah.
Watch your heads.
Yeah.
The cars drove around for maybe a half hour with the three pledges locked in the trunks. And when they got back to the fraternity house, the trunks were finally open.
Hey, Worm! It looks like Chuck's the winner. Come on, let's get out.
Wake up, Kirk.
Come on, let's
Wake
go.
up, buddy. Come on. Come on.
How come he's not getting up?
Hey, Chucko, you're not playing the game right.
Man.
He gave you that mixer so you'd lose it. That's the joke, get it?
Come on, Chuck. You gotta get up and go to the head of the class. Hey, give me a hand. He's really passed out.
My word of honor. No harm was ever intended. We'd all been through it, and nothing had ever gone wrong before.
Frank, give me a hand, would you? Come on!
I thought a shower would wake them up.
They're passed out all over the place. Best we can do is let them sleep it out. Hey, boys.
I was Chuck's sponsor, and I was supposed to be checking on him every 15 minutes. But I went downstairs to the bar room and continued to party. There were drinking games, and it got out of hand. I got really drunk and I passed out. Later that night, I woke up when I heard panic and shouting. Everything was confusion.
No one dies from just drinking.
Uh-huh.
Maybe he was on drugs and it was a combination to kill. Look, officer, we have some harmless fun and we pull some silly stunts, but it's been going on around here since my father was a member.
Hey, Sarge.
What the hell's happening?
What's going on?
These two pledges stopped breathing.
Are they dead?
No. Chuck Stenzel is.
What are you talking about? Chuck's upstairs.
He stopped breathing and he turned blue. Why the hell were you upstairs checking on him like I told you?
Why the hell weren't you?
Son of a bitch. This is your fault, too. You're as guilty as I am, and don't you forget it.
How could this have happened?
I don't know. It was just hazy. It was no big deal until now.
You have every right to hate me. I hate myself.
Frank, we don't hate you.
No, son. It was courageous of you to come and talk to us. No one else has.
Dean Braden, he put us in a really tight spot. He gave strict instructions to the president of our fraternity. He said, as long as this is under investigation, you are not to comment on the incident. So the president told us all to keep silent.
Sit down, Frank. I said, sit down! Did you hear about the article in News Journal?
Cut it out. You got something to say to me. Say it.
Like what, Frank? That you're a traitor? Mrs. Stevens says she received details of the incidents from a fraternity member. A fraternity member that was told to check the young man's condition every 15 minutes.
She's his mother. She has a right to know.
The hell she does, Frank! Those were secret initiations.
Chuck was trying to become one of us. He trusted us. We were supposed to look out for him.
We're your brothers, man. We trusted you. And then you go and tell her that peer pressure was used to force the pledges to drink.
Peer pressures? It is an honor to be asked to join Delta Lambda. Our alumni brothers include doctors, lawyers, presidents and CEOs of companies all over this country. You betrayed your oath to us, and you betrayed your oath to them. And thanks to you, they got the pathologist to talk. Do you want to know what he said, Frank? Someone should shut down that fraternity before they kill another innocent boy. We had a bond for life, Frank. And you defiled that bond. You defiled our brotherhood and everything that it stands for.
You're not one of us.
No. No, Frank. You're not one of anything.
You're nothing. Nothing but a common little snitch.
Remember when Chuck stayed home for the fall semester to pay for his tuition?
I do.
Remember how I nagged him about how important education was?
I think nag's a little strong.
I said, get back. Don't postpone college any longer or you'll regret it. God help me, Roy. Did I send him back to die?
No, Eileen, you didn't. There's nothing either of us could have done to prevent this.
Hi, Mom.
Oh, hi, sweetheart. Where's Scott and Suzanne?
It's Monday. Scott's got basketball. Suzanne's got gymnastics.
Oh, right, I forgot.
Yeah, you're always forgetting.
Just aren't enough hours in the day anymore.
What are you doing?
I'm keeping a record.
Hazing, pledge, Hell Week, tapping night.
Big Brother? What's this for?
Research.
Research. That too?
Documentation. Listen to this. Drinking is a serious problem on college campuses in the United States. And Crawford University is obviously not immune. That is a quote from President Rowan. Why is he making it seem like some dumb kid drank himself to death at a party instead of part of a fraternity initiation? And listen, Mark sent me these headlines. Listen to this. Fraternity hazing. Pledge drinks self to death in car trunk. And here's another one. Alcohol poisoning. Animal house hijinks lead to death. They're not going to get away with this. I am going to find out all about this thing called hazing that killed Chuck, and I'm going to fight it.
Mom, you're scaring me.
What do you mean I'm scaring you?
I don't know. I've never seen you like this.
Stephen, I can't fail, and I'm going to persevere if it takes every bit of strength that I have.
Why, Mom?
Because all those mothers out there need me. They're depending on me. I get letters from them every day, and it makes me realize that I'm not crazy. Stephen, these women need me, honey.
We need you too.
I know you do. And I'm trying to be here for you and Scott and Dad and Suzanne, all of you. But I can't stop my work. Or other deaths will be shoved under the rug. And I can't have all these boys dying like Chuck. Don't you understand? Please, I just want to ask you some questions about the night Chuck died.
Look, Mrs. Stevens, I've told you everything that I know, all right? I'm sorry, I gotta go.
Great.
Eileen! Did you hear? Dean Braden's withdrawn recognition from Delta Lambda.
For how long?
Well, he didn't say.
Oh, swell. Well, he could reinstate them after several weeks.
Or in several years.
Hi, Mom, we're home.
Hey, I'm starving. What's for dinner?
Honey, it'll be ready in a minute. So, what else did Dean Braden say?
Oh, well, you're not going to like this part. He said that that was the limit of the university's authority over the fraternity.
That is not true.
Mom, I think something's burning on the
Well, then
stove.
turn it off, honey. He told the News Journal that one option was the expulsion of Delta Lambda members and the complete withdrawal of school recognition. So why didn't he do it?
Well, universities have alumni, right?
Right.
Alumni make donations. Maybe some of the biggest donations are made by alumni who were members of Delta Lambda.
Of course. Money in politics.
Yeah. Eileen.
What? I'll just have to think of another way, that's all. I finished all the thank you notes. Now I'm going to write letters to anyone that I think could help me ban hazing.
Eileen, slow down.
I told you something was burning.
Well, it looks like a hockey puck.
Hey, would you call Gino's and order a pizza for us? Huh?
I had pizza for lunch.
Look, tomorrow I'm going to write letters to all the reporters who covered Chuck's story and to all the faculty who sent us sympathy cards.
More letters, huh, Mom?
Yes, and I'm not going to stop until I get results.
Eileen! Can you give me a hand?
I'm coming, honey.
Well, I found it in a dumpster at work. I thought maybe you could use it.
You bet I can. Wait till you see this.
Well, what's that?
It's the computer search on fraternity hazing from the New York Times. The $100 paid off. It It has uncovered 43 items, all horror stories, just like Chuck's in. Listen to this. Robert Brazil, heart attack, University of Pennsylvania. Thomas Fitzgerald, stabbed to death during war games, St. John's University. William Flowers, buried alive, Monmouth College. Mitch Fishkin jumped from a moving car, Lehigh University. Roy, this supports all of the letters that I've been getting from students and their parents telling me about their hazing experiences.
Should give you the ammunition you need, right?
You bet.
Mrs. Stevens! Mrs. Stevens, can I talk to you a moment?
Who's that?
It's a reporter.
Mom, we have to go now or I'm going to be late.
If I could just get a statement from you.
I'm sorry, but I have to drive my daughter to a gymnastics
Well,
class.
just briefly, if you could give me your reaction to the investigation that was just concluded in the death of your son.
Concluded?
Mom, come on.
Get in the car, Suzanne. I'll be right there.
Sorry if this comes as a surprise. I assume the DA's office was in touch with you.
In 5 weeks, Mr. Hughes, I have gotten one phone call through to the DA's office. He cut the conversation short and said he'd call me back. Well, I'm still waiting. And as far as the university is concerned, they made it very clear that if I had any further questions, I should direct them to the treasurer. Now, how is that for sensitivity?
DA's findings indicate that what happened was, quote, an unfortunate accident, an isolated incident for which no one was responsible.
Forget it, Mom.
What?
He says, Mrs. Stevens, I found no evidence of criminal activity or wrongdoing. And he ends with, no further action is contemplated. Would you like to comment?
I'll get there on my own, just like I always do. Suzanne, wait!
Mrs. Stevens, are you satisfied with the district attorney's treatment?
No, Mr. Hughes, I am not satisfied. One boy is dead and 2 others almost died with him. The intention of those involved makes no difference. This was a premeditated, planned, traditional activity that took place in the name of brotherhood. The death of my son was no accident, Mr. Hughes. I am just a housewife. But I am no longer ignorant and naive. And you can tell your readers that I am never going to stop until there is a law making these senseless hazings a crime.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Stevens.
Suzanne? How did you find me?
You weren't at your gymnastics class and your friend Lori thought you might be here.
I want things to be back the way they were. Why do you have to talk to all these strangers?
I'm sorry about the reporter, honey, but he told me some very important things. Suzanne, one of the reasons I'm doing my work is I want everyone to remember your brother. Does that make sense?
Mom, you know why I come here so much? I'm afraid if I don't, I'll forget Chuck.
You won't forget Chuck.
But what if I do, Mom?
Because Chuck lives in your heart. And he'll stay there for as long as you live. And if you remember that, you'll never be afraid. Did you tell them that you're my lawyer?
Eileen, we're not being ignored by the DA's office. They simply don't know how to reopen it.
Well, what I don't understand is why everyone thinks I am so unreasonable. All I want is that my questions be answered. My son had bruises on his knuckles. Why? How? And why weren't there any criminal charges filed?
The problem is, there is no specific law dealing with hazing.
Then let's make a law.
That's easier said than done.
But it is possible.
Why, anything's possible. But if you're really serious about this, I have a friend in the State Assembly you should talk to.
What's his name?
Sam Hirsch.
Tell Mr. Hirsch I am very serious.
Hi. Where have you been?
With my lawyer. The DA's office is still giving us the runaround.
Eat.
No time.
Eat.
I am so stressed out, I can't even remember what I wanted to write.
You discovered in your research that 5 states already have anti-hazing laws.
So, why doesn't New York State have an anti-hazing law?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the sandwich.
So, where's this going?
Assemblyman Sam Hirsch.
Good move. He's a reformer. He gets things done.
I know. I did my homework. I just hope I don't get tongue-tied when I make my case.
Who's paying for all this?
Chuck's tuition refund, but it's almost run out.
Maybe you should sell some things.
The garage is almost bare.
Not exactly.
Look, let's not get into that, okay?
Eileen, who uses the clam boat? And Chuck's pickup is always breaking down.
Roy drives the truck, and Scott uses the boat.
Are you sure they want to? Or are they just trying to make you feel good?
How you doing?
Not so good.
Roy, do you think it's wrong for me to want to keep the pickup and the clam boat?
Well, they both require a lot of maintenance. They're old, they break down all the time. But I suppose that's no big deal if you love working on them.
But you don't.
I'm not Chuck. Neither is Scott. Now, he's never going to love clamming the way that Chuck did. He works on that old boat, he gets frustrated, and then he feels guilty.
He told you that? Well, why didn't he tell me?
Probably for the same reason that I don't tell you what an oil-dripping nuisance his old pickup is. It's a tough call, I think. He is so concerned about your feelings that he doesn't pay much attention to his own. I'm afraid that's happening to me, too.
Roy, I don't want you to protect me. If I have hurt you or the children, I want to know about it. Sell them, Roy. Sell the pickup and the clam boat as soon as you can.
You sure that's what you want?
But not to anyone local. God, grant me a miracle. Let Chuck hold my hand, just this once. We filed a civil suit against the university and the fraternity and its officers. It's not about money. We're doing this because it's the only way that we can get any answers. Grandma Stenzel thinks that I should name my organization Chuck. C-H-U-C-K. What do you think?
What do the letters stand for?
That's exactly what I asked her. She said it would come to me. It hasn't.
Have you decided on the goal?
To document death and injuries related to hazing, enact an anti-hazing legislation.
Just give it a rest, Mom. I mean, come on, this is supposed to be your birthday.
Hey.
You're right. It's my birthday. And I'd like to propose a special birthday toast.
Hold that thought.
I'll go get it.
Dad, you've got to do something. I mean, all these people writing and calling, I'm getting sick of it.
Scott's right. Some student Mom never even met. Called her collect.
And that student may have had second thoughts because he spoke to your mom. Now, doesn't that seem to be worth it? What's wrong?
That was Assemblyman Sam Hirsch. He wants to sponsor the anti-hazing bill.
Eileen, that's fantastic.
We're very proud of you.
Oh, I have to go to Albany while the legislature is in session.
You have to go there?
Well, that's the way it works, honey. Mr. Hirsch thinks that if I talk to the legislators, I'll win their support.
Don't panic. I know everything about the way bills are passed. We'll drive there together.
Oh, that's great.
My mom, the lobbyist.
Pretty good. Here. What's this?
Your birthday present.
Chuck. Committee to halt useless college killings. Thank you, Diane. Excuse me? Excuse me, I only want 5 minutes of Senator Wilson's time.
Oh, I'm sorry. The senator has appointments all day.
Well, is it possible to schedule one for me? My name is Eileen Stevens.
Oh, I wish I could, Mrs. Stevens. It's just that first you need to leave your material, and then if the senator is interested, he'll contact you.
I left a packet of our information last week.
Oh, I'm very sorry. Maybe I could find it and place it at the top of the pile. Stevens.
I've never done this before, so tell me what to do, Mr. Hirsch.
Sam, well, now, I can raise awareness of the anti-hazing bill in chambers, but you have to solicit sponsors.
Well, I'm trying. But what do I do when they won't give me an appointment and they bury all my material underneath unread documents?
Yes, well, I'm afraid that's what happens when you're one person and you're competing against powerful lobby groups with offices and staff.
So, how do we get their attention?
Good question. You can try and cut them off at the pass, or talk as fast as you can. Look, there's Dewey Wilson now. The first thing is to get it by his committee. Senator Wilson? Senator Wilson, this is Eileen Stevens and Diane Donowdy.
It's nice to meet you, ladies.
Now, Mrs. Stevens is trying to raise awareness of her anti-hazing
Senator,
bill that
my son died needlessly in a hazing incident.
I've been trying to get in to see you, and please, could you please read this information? I really need your help. We need to hold school officials and national fraternity executives accountable. These hazing incidents are shrouded by secrecy, and without legislation,
Senator, we have to go.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Stevens. I'm late for an important vote.
Senator, can we at least set up a meeting? I mean, Mrs. Stevens has an awful lot of data that
Just call my office.
Did I come on too strong?
Well, you did get his attention. That's always the first step into getting anything done around here.
I hope you're right about that. Yes, well, I'll think about it. I have your number. Thank you for calling. Bye-bye.
Who was that?
People magazine. They want to do a story on me.
Is that good?
Well, it's good in the sense that we can get our message out to millions of people. But they want to take a photograph by Chuck's grave.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Well, nothing. It's just that Chuck's gravesite is a very private place for all of us. And what if people think that I'm using Chuck's death for publicity?
No one's going to think that. You do what you think's right. Follow your instincts. Thanks.
Well, the photographer was very moved by Chuck's story and thought a photo would help.
Well, I don't think I mind.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't bother me.
Well, I mind. I want you to keep doing your work, Mom. You know that. But I gotta be honest with you, okay? When I go back to school next week, that's it. I don't want to be part of this anymore. Okay? I'm sorry. Okay.
Eileen? Eileen, look after David.
I just want to do what's right for all of us.
They're here.
Oh, how do I look?
Great, Mom.
I'm so nervous, my hands are shaking.
Don't worry, you'll do great. Mrs. Stevens, why do you think that young men are capable of setting themselves up for this kind of dangerous hazing?
I think these students are unsuspecting. They think it'll be over in the morning. How bad can it be? They don't expect to lose their lives.
I know you're not a philosopher, but why do you think this happens?
Well, I think these pledges are very susceptible to peer pressure. For many of them, it's the first time they're away from home, and they want to belong. And the idea of being part of a brotherhood is very attractive.
And this hazing problem isn't as isolated as people might think?
Well, just last year, a young man lost his life. 6 pledges were blindfolded, and they walked across the street, and they were hit by a car. One was killed, and the others all broke their legs. They were holding hands, and they were chanting, "Trust your brother. Trust your brother." The blindfold signifies blind trust. My son Chuck had blind trust when he put himself in the hands of his fraternity brothers. The same blind trust that I had when I sent him off to college, where I thought he'd be safe.
She's doing great.
A year ago, who would have thought that I'd be guest speaker at a university?
Yeah, I know.
Roy, isn't St. Christopher's just a short drive from Crawford University?
Yeah, it's about 20 minutes.
Well, that means that members of Delta Lambda could come over.
Oh, yeah, they could, but then you get a chance to talk to them. Isn't that what you've always wanted?
Yeah, but not like this, not in public where I can make a fool of myself.
Eileen, millions of people just watched you on that TV show.
That's right. And some of the mail I have received from students has been pretty ugly.
Well, it can't be as tough as those guys in Albany were, and you handled them without blinking an eye.
Well, I know that they're just college kids, and they're probably attending my lecture because it's mandatory. I don't want to be one of those people who tells them what to do. But how am I going to get them to listen to me?
It's Chuck's confirmation ring. For luck. You're a mother. You start with that.
So it is with great pleasure that I introduce to you tonight Mrs. Eileen Stevens.
Eileen. What's wrong? A busload of Crawford students just pulled in. Be strong.
I am speaking to you as a mother who saw her son compromise his dignity, be less than he should be by simply not thinking. I wouldn't want your mother nor your family to go through the pain and the devastation that we have. You can achieve friendship, brotherhood, and strengthen bonds through positive, constructive, and useful activities. I am not anti-fraternity. I am anti-hazing, anti-abuse. Chuck's death has not been my only nightmare. I understand that my son died because something inside of him wanted the company of the Delta Lambda fraternity brothers. I realized that had he lived and become a brother, he too might have hazed and might have, in turn, sacrificed some other mother's son. That's why I'm here tonight. I have no vendetta. I only want to educate. If you have any comments or questions, I ask you to share them. Yes?
I represent a group from Crawford University. We're here to support what you're doing. You're right. Chuck shouldn't have died.
He was not responsive, but the more I talked, the more he listened. Senator Wilson, all hazing is inherently wrong. As in the case of my son, it can be deadly. Look, I wouldn't be here if this was a trivial matter.
And I wouldn't be meeting with you if I thought this was a waste of my time. But I'm telling you, Mrs. Stevens, the real issue here is priorities. We have budget crisis, educational crisis, crime, environmental problems.
So, Senator Wilson, you are telling me that I should forget it? That I should just give up before I even start?
No, but I'm telling you this. Your bill is a long way from getting my support.
Why?
Because the bill has no teeth. Hazing is a preconditioned activity to join an organization. What the hell is that? It's filler, words with no bite.
Thank you very much for your candor, Senator Wilson. Now, can you help me fix it?
I don't know, Mrs. Stevens. I honestly can't say.
I'm sorry to keep you waiting, Eileen.
It's okay, Sam. A friend of Chuck's who attends the university sent me this.
So, the president of Crawford University is resigning.
Well, that's quite a victory.
Keep reading. He isn't resigning, Sam. He's accepted the presidency of a nearby college that is bigger and more prestigious.
Okay, so you couldn't generate enough heat to get him out, but that's okay, Eileen. You're winning over votes. And that means that sooner or later we're going to have an anti-hazing bill in place. Then he's going to have to watch his step. Concentrate on the little victories. That's what always gets me through the day.
Well, I'm sure not winning anything at the DA's office. What's this?
Oh, a little Christmas present? I wrote to the governor on your behalf. It seems that Crawford University is the area's largest employer. It's contributed more than $20 million to a 30-mile area surrounding the university. Eileen, I want assurance from the governor that the DA's refusal to charge Delta Lambda fraternity with at least a violation is devoid of political motivation.
More letters? More fan mail. Your TV appearance certainly created quite a stir. I don't believe this. This has got to make close to 4,000 letters. What on earth are you going to do with them all? Answer them. Oh, Eileen, you are already Chuck's chief executive officer, secretary, and PR person. You have to get some help. You need members, chapters, delegate some responsibility.
I can't. Most mothers want to abolish fraternities and sororities. I just want to work within the system to change their attitude.
Okay, well then you have to start asking for a speaking fee. You know, these places should be paying your expenses too. I mean, why do you have to keep funding the organization yourself?
It just doesn't feel right to ask for money. I'm starting to feel like a yo-yo bouncing back and forth between here and home.
Eileen, I know exactly how you feel. You know, when I first came to Albany, it put an enormous strain on my family. I mean, one day I felt like I was really achieving something, and the next day everything would fall apart. Well, we finally got a response from the district attorney.
You don't sound very happy.
He denies efforts to cover up evidence, and he justifies suppressing facts because the investigation is still ongoing.
Ongoing? That completely contradicts the statement you made to the press.
I know. He insists he's always considered the case open.
Well, why wouldn't he return my calls, and why wouldn't he see me?
He says that he didn't intentionally not return your calls. Eileen, he believes he's acting responsibly in the investigation, and that his motives and plans must remain confidential.
So, that's it? That's his final word?
No. He also says there's no reason for anyone, you, me, the press, or the governor, to conclude that he's not doing his duty.
Well, how does he explain the pathologist statement about Chuck being killed?
Well, according to him, he says it was spoken informally, without legal foundation or a full grasp of the facts.
The truth, Sam. Where does that leave me?
I'm afraid it leaves you back at square one.
Yes. Okay. Thanks for calling, Sam. Yeah, I'll try.
Something wrong?
That was Sam Hirsch. Governor Carey vetoed the bill.
Why?
He said the conduct described was already covered in existing laws.
What are you going to do now?
Go back up to Albany and start all over again if I have to. The fraternities are about to gear up for Hell Week. And if we can revise the bill and Little did I know that at that very moment another tragedy was beginning to unfold in upstate New York. 19-year-old Michael Chambers is being initiated into a fraternity.
Where's Mom?
Her plane was delayed. There's engine trouble in Atlanta.
I hate it when she flies.
Me too. Why can't you just stay home like every other mom?
She'll be home in a couple of hours.
Can I get you some dinner, Roy?
Oh, would you please? Thanks.
Wish I was away at college. And I wouldn't have to keep you thinking about what was going to happen to Mom while she's flying off to Albany or driving to Timbuktu.
Nothing is going to happen to your mother.
How do you know? Chuck went away and he didn't come back.
Susie, I understand you worrying about your mother, but you can't let it make you afraid of life. I worried about you the first time you got on your bicycle and rode off. I worried about Scott when he first got his driver's permit. But then I remembered about these wings that we've all got to test out. And I was very proud of your independence. Just like I'm proud of your mother's.
The only good thing about sitting in an airport for 2 hours was it gave me a chance to rewrite my next speech. Did Roy tell you that next weekend I'm going to address a national fraternity for the very first time?
No, that's great.
Well, it's hard to make them understand how dangerous these stunts can be without antagonizing.
Well, if anyone can get through to them, it's you.
Thanks for helping us out tonight.
That's what friends are for.
What?
Eileen, you should start thinking about getting things back to normal.
Normal?
I think you need to spend more time with Roy and the kids.
I'm giving them as much time as I possibly can, Diane.
What about you?
Me? I'm doing what I have to do. I have made a commitment.
Eileen, your work is all you talk about.
And what?
Oh, I don't know. Are you sure you're not on some fool's crusade?
What are you talking about?
Maybe you should let it go, Eileen. Because maybe that is what Chuck would want.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
But I think that Chuck would be proud of the work I'm doing. Because he wouldn't want it to happen to anybody else. I know the senator is very busy, but couldn't you squeeze us in for a 10-minute appointment? That's all we want. I'm sorry, I just can't. Can I ask you something? Do you have any children?
4, all girls.
Then don't you understand why this is important?
Isn't there anything you can do to help us?
Maybe if the senator sensed the public mood was behind the bill, he'd be more inclined to...
What does he need? Another death?
What he needs are cards and letters. And the more you send, the more he'll listen. Good luck.
Okay. I know that look.
I had a great idea. All those letters we got from the television appearance.
Right.
Everyone wanted to know what they could do to help. So why don't we ask them to send letters to the senator to urge him to support the bill?
That's a great idea.
We'll buy hundreds of postcards. We'll stamp them. We'll address them.
Whoa, hold on a second.
Well, how else are we going to get them to send them in? Huh?
What's this all about?
Postcards, letters, mailgrams from all over the country.
Don't tell me Eileen Stevens, right?
Right.
I couldn't believe it, Sam. For the first time, I really feel we're making progress.
Good for you, Eileen.
You don't sound very excited.
Well, I have to warn you. The word is the governor is going to veto the bill every time it crosses his desk.
Until you tell me what's going on.
Let go of me! I can't move! Let go! Let go! Look at this! I swung, damn it, they weren't listening and another student is dead. Look at this. His name is Michael Chambers. He's 18 years old from Leland University and he's dead.
What happened?
The usual stupidity. They woke the pledges up in the middle of the night. And they put them through hours of brutal calisthenics. Push-ups, sit-ups, and running. And then they dressed them in warm clothing and they put them in a steam room. His body temperature rose to 108 degrees. And he collapsed, and within an hour, he was dead. I am so mad at myself.
No, it's not your fault.
Don't you let me off the hook. Too many people are being let off the hook.
Eileen, this is crazy. Why are you so hard on yourself? You, of all people, you're the only one that's making a difference.
Then why can't I make it stop, Roy? I have tried everything I know. I have talked till I'm blue in the face and the governor won't even hear me. I don't know what else to do anymore.
Excuse me.
Yes?
Are you Eileen Stevens?
Yes, I am.
I don't mean to bother you, but I saw you on television talking about how your son was killed.
Thank you for caring.
I'm sorry, these things are very upsetting. These accidents, you know, they're still happening. My son, he was killed too. His name was Michael Chambers.
Of course. I read all about it. I am so sorry.
It would have been his birthday today. I went out. I bought him a card. So he would know I haven't forgotten him.
I understand. Please, Mrs. Chambers, would you like to come in and we'll have some tea?
No, thank you. I really shouldn't be going. I just felt that I needed to see you and to tell you how important it is that you keep talking to those reporters. I couldn't. But I thank God that there's people like you that can. There's somebody that can be my voice. Be the one, Eileen. Be the one that speaks for all the mothers. I'll try, Mrs. Chambers, I promise.
I can't tell you how many times I have been told that hazing on college campuses is a non-issue. It's a trivial matter compared to all the other problems that we have in our society. But for myself and the mother of Michael Chambers, a young man who was recently killed in another hazing incident, this truly is a life and death situation. The grand jury investigating Michael Chambers' death failed to recommend that charges be brought against the offending fraternity. However, in an unusual move, the grand jury recommended that New York pass criminal legislation. Michael Chambers did not go off to war. He went off to a placid campus in a very safe upstate community. This grand jury is convinced that he was, in a real sense, murdered. He was murdered by collective stupidity and collective irresponsibility. Perhaps if this bill had not been vetoed by the governor, someone could be held accountable for this student's death. But his veto signaled fraternities to go ahead and continue their dangerous and potentially fatal hazing practices. We have 45 Assembly and 25 Senate sponsors. And I have received several letters of support from key figures in the fraternity world. I implore you to join us in passing this bill so we may present it to the governor yet again.
Thank you, Mrs. Stevens. Thank you for showing me and my colleagues why this bill must be signed by the governor.
Thank you.
Senator Van Horn. Senator Van Horn votes yes. Senator Wilson. Senator Wilson votes yes. Motion carries.
Remember, Eileen, if at any time you're too uncomfortable for this, just excuse yourself and leave. These are pre-trial depositions, and you're not required to be here.
I have to be here. I want them to see me when they talk.
As president of Delta Lambda fraternity, do you in any way approve of the various hazing activities?
It was part of the tradition, handed down from year to year.
But you were a very active participant that night, were you not, Mr. Lanier?
I was there, if that's what you mean.
And you saw Chuck Stenzel get out of the trunk?
Yes, sir.
Was he intoxicated?
I couldn't tell.
Why not?
Some of the other guys were vomiting, and I was watching them.
Was Chuck unconscious? Did you pay even the slightest bit of attention to him that night, Mr. Lanier, or was vomiting the focus of the festivities?
I didn't know that anything was wrong with him. I swear it.
And what was the theme of Chuck's Hell Night?
Don't stop till you drop.
Don't stop till you drop. It seems that Chuck Stenzel took you at your word, Mr. Lanier.
Mrs. Stevens, this was an accident. We never meant to hurt your son. You gotta believe me.
Like the young men from Delta Lambda fraternity who were there the night Chuck died. I wanted them to look me in the eye, but they couldn't. Their eyes were too full of tears to see me. And now I know that Chuck may not have been the only young man to be deprived of his dreams that fateful night. Now I know Chuck's death will haunt those young men of Delta Lambda for as long as they live. But the gentle hand of grace has moved me beyond the darkness. When I talk of Chuck, I don't talk of death. I talk of life. Life that springs from tragedy and the mistakes of others.
Mom, you did it. Play.
Congratulations. What happened? What's the matter?
The governor signed the bill.
Oh.
Chuck's death.
This guy asked me if she was actually going to tell the same tired old story again. Of course, he didn't know who I was.
What did you tell him?
Yes, sir. She's going to tell the same tired old story. And 800 kids are sitting out there so interested, you can hear a pin drop. I'll buy you a cup of coffee.
Good.
Who would have thought that someone like me, who didn't go to college, who never spoke in public in her life, who never left home, who never went anywhere without her husband, who led a very limited existence, would have the audacity to